All right, what's up, everybody? Hope you're all doing well and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be trying a different type of video. I'm just going to be trying to do a video with very minimal editing. So, it's just going to be mostly my voice. The gameplay is The Last of Us. What is this? No run, no returns. It's just kind of like filler gameplay footage. Obviously, I'll be maybe talking about it here and there, but it's mostly just for, background. This video, I'm going to just be yapping and rambling about The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2. There's going to be spoilers where I'm going to be talking about the story. I'm not going to be going maybe too in detail to like story elements. Maybe for The Last of Us Part 2, I might, but it's just kind of like a yap, just a completely just off the cuff. I got some bullet points, but I haven't really got anything like written down, which yeah, as I said, I'm just going to try and keep this pretty chill. So mostly, if you're doing something, you can have this on in the background, or if you're driving, you want to just hear my thoughts and opinions and on The Last of Us, then feel free to just to listen away. But yeah, anyway, gameplay. Just quickly, I'll talk about it. It's this no return or no run. I can't remember what it's called. This is for the part two, and oh my god, this game mode, I love it. I've really fallen in love with it. I keep on going back to this, and as you can see, I'm playing as Jesse. I love Jesse. We'll talk about him, I guess, later. But yeah, damn. This is the. It's like I think it's pretty much like a horde mode. I think even that's just really underselling it. But I don't know why this filter is on the gameplay right now. I think it's like a modifier, but the maps and the enemies and everything's kind of completely random. But yeah, for some reason, the first game of this, I have this photo filter on, which I don't really know why, but it's okay. Anyway, let's talk about Last of Us Part 1. So, Last of Us Part 1 is pretty much like a massively upscaled. The graphics have been completely redone. The gameplay's had a few tweaks, and the game originally came out on the PlayStation 3, which when I really think about it, I don't know what year exactly it came out, but my God, it came out on the PS3. And I mean, I'll be honest, the first time I ever played Last of Us was actually on the PS4. I didn't even realize it came out on the PS3, like until I just looked it up recently. I just completely forgot. But I want to talk about my first time ever really experiencing the game. And the first time I ever experienced it was actually on YouTube. So I think the first time I ever like watched anything was actually the PewDiePie walkthrough where he played like the first part of the game. Because I saw people were talking really positively about the game. I didn't really know much about it. I love zombie games. I love zombie media. So I knew I was always going to check it out. And when it came down to like just watching PewDiePie and watching that intro of The Last of Us Part One's intro, by the way, is like one of the I would argue it's probably the one of the best like intros to a video game because it just really grips you. Obviously, the zombies, or I know they're not called zombies, but the infected are just taking over the city. It's just you're seeing the mayhem just unfold, and obviously what's her name? Sarah. Yeah, Joel's daughter. Just, I thought that was Ellie because I didn't really see much of like the. I only saw the box art and I just assumed that was Ellie, and I was really surprised by that. And I've never really seen at that time. I'd never seen anything like that where it was so devastating and brutal, and you're seeing like Joel's reaction and. Yeah, it was heavy, and I only watched that first part because I knew I was going to get this game. Turns out I didn't because I don't even know how old I was, but I was pretty young. I did have a PS3. I don't know why I never bought it, but when I did get the PS4, that was actually the first game I ever bought on the PS4, and yeah, it was a great game. I'm glad I never watched anything on it other than that. I'd rather just experience the game for myself, and yeah, I really enjoyed the game. The story is amazing. Obviously, we'll talk about that as well. I'm trying to think of like the main differences from this new remaster. It's not even, is it new? I don't know how long it's been out for, but we're going to call it new. I don't care. The Last of Us Part 1, there's a few differences. Obviously, the quality of life choices. I think the game just had a few tweaks here and there just to make it a little bit more fluid. The graphics, obviously, it's just amazing looking. It's such an upgrade from the PS3 and obviously from the PS4. So I think I would say now, if you've never played The Last of Us, I think the best way to play it is by playing the part one, just because the graphics alone are amazing. And obviously, regardless, they didn't change anything with the story or anything like that, but the story is very good. I'm going to assume that most people who are watching my video or my channel probably know the story of The Last of Us, to a certain extent anyway. And obviously, the show is really popular right now. Some people love it, some people don't like it as much. I might talk about that later on. I don't really watch too much of the show. I've seen certain snippets of it, but yeah, the games are the best way to enjoy Last of Us. I would say I don't think many people are making the argument that the show is better than the games. But yeah, the characters in The Last of Us. So you got Joel, you got Tommy, and of course you got Ellie. The girl who is infected, I wouldn't even say infected, she's immune and she's been bitten, and Joel's got to get her to the fireflies. It's yeah, I won't talk too much about the story. I feel like most people know about the story of The Last of Us Part One, but the characters in this game, you really do get attached, especially Joel and Ellie. You love how they bond, but and you see the devastating thing that happens to Joel at the start of the game, and then you see like Ellie might come in, and I don't think she's ever going to be able to replace his daughter, but she kind of takes over that daughter role. And I think it's a long time that I think the start of the game, well, that happens, and then it skips to like 20 years. So Joel has been in this apocalypse for a long time, and he's done things that is just pretty bad. Yeah, I don't think he's a good guy. In all honesty, if you really look into some of the things he's probably had to do to survive, and maybe just did it for the sake of it, yeah, he's not a great guy. He's if anything, he's pretty bad. So yeah, obviously 20 years in the zombie apocalypse is a very long time, and yeah, it's not an easy thing to just kind of just brush aside. So 20 years is a long time. So you know that this character's been through a lot, and he comes across Ellie, who is immune, which he discovers, and he's still going to stick to his mission, but he eventually does form a bond with Ellie, and Ellie kind of has his gets a father. And I want to talk about the ending real quick. So if you haven't, I would skip this part, but I feel like this whole video is just going to be kind of filled with spoilers anyway. But The Last of Us Part One's ending is one of the most, I would say, thought provoking, maybe controversial. Yeah, it's a big ending. So at the end of the game, you have to make a decision whether, well, you don't really get to make the decision, but Joel makes a decision to get I guess, a vaccine and a cure for this whole apocalypse. Ellie's brain has to be like, I don't know, like the procedure that will kill her, but they can get like a vaccine from it or something. And yeah, that decision, Joel doesn't. It's not going to fly with Joel. So Joel actually rescues Ellie. He kills all the fireflies, and yeah, he pretty much just damns the world. And this ending was like, Ellie was okay with dying to save the world, I guess. But Joel, oh, that's one thing. Joel lied and said that they just couldn't find a cure, and like there was like an ambush or something in the show. He says, but basically he just lies to Ellie and says that they couldn't find a cure, and it kind of ends on like a cliff note that Joel lies to her face and says like, no, they really said that there was no cure, they couldn't do anything. And then like a few years pass, and then Last of Us 2 happens, and we'll talk about that later. But the ending for Last of Us Part 1 is such a, I don't know, man. I'll be honest, since I've had a daughter, if that was my predicament, I would not care. My daughter is surviving. I don't give a like I don't care. I'm not doing anything like that. Yeah. Anyway, that is my personal take on it. I'm sure many people have very different opinions to it, because that is the whole point of the ending, is to really make you question, in Joel's position, he's already lost a daughter. Is he going to lose another one? Yeah, for me personally, I don't give a I'm saving my daughter. I don't care. But anyway, Last of Us Part One is an amazing game, and it's very much one of the greatest games of all time. I think many people pretty much have that sentiment. It's not my favorite game of all time, but I do love it, and I love what it is. And let's move on to a game that I'm a little bit worried to talk about too much on my channel. It feels like it's one of the most like controversial games of all time, and there's a lot to it. So obviously, when this game was announced, the hype was massive. Obviously, Last of Us Part Two. We're gonna get the characters back. We're gonna see where Joel and Ellie are at, and discover a few things, and see how the zombies are. Again, I don't care. I know they're not really called zombies; they're infected, but same thing. I don't give a shit. But this game was just absolutely swarmed with controversy, and it still is to this day. Um, well, where do we even begin? I think the game story pretty much got leaked like a week before release, and a lot of people saw it. I saw a little bit of it, but I kind of knew certain things were going to happen. But yeah, the game story got leaked, and there was actually some like false info in there as well. There was like Abby, who was like the, I guess you could say, main antagonist of this game, was transgender. That wasn't true. I know she's got really fucking big arms, but yeah, she she is a woman. And there is actually a transgender character in the game. I think it was it's Lev, which I didn't actually know that playing my first time around. I didn't realize, and I look into it now. I played the game really recently. I had absolutely no idea. I must have completely forgotten about that, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really make too much of a difference to the story. But this game was released, and as I said, to this day, it is still, from what I can see online, still one of the most controversial games that I can look up. And I think some of it is a bit unjustified, some of it is very justified. Why is that? Well, it seems like most people were really unhappy with the direction that the story went in. I'm going to say straight off the bat, like the story to even get, I think obviously everyone's going to compare it to Last of Us Part One. That's just kind of naturally. You always compare like the sequel to the original, um, and I think Last of Us Part One is that good that it would have been really, really difficult, not even just for Last of Us Two, but for many games to kind of live up to that kind of scale of the story of Last of Us Part One. I don't want to seem like I'm glazing. I probably am glazing everything too much, but yeah, the story, it was hard to kind of live up to that hype, is what I'm saying. So the story for Last of Us Two, I think a lot of people were unhappy. Spoiler alert, with the way that Joel died. I am also, I get it. I actually believe that Joel's death was inevitable. I feel like it had to happen because of the story, the way the direction was going. I think if they were going to do a Last of Us 2, I think Joel had to end up dying at some point. And that's not the problem for me. And I think that's not really the problem for many people. I think it's the way that it happened. This character, Abby, who gets introduced. And I just want to say as well, when the game was revealed, I saw the trailer, and the trailer was so, it was so full. Like, was it Abby's like being hung up on a tree or something, and then like there's some scars which we didn't know at the time, I don't think, and there's like bow and arrows, and they're breaking some girls. It's just so wild. But yeah, the trailer was really good for the game, and yeah, but the character Abby is pretty much I wouldn't say she's the main character, but well, kind of. She you play as her a lot in this game, but the way that she killed Joel, so she's the one who kills Joel. She just kind of pretty much beats him to death with like what is it, like a golf club. I don't even think that's, for me, that's not really the big deal. It was just the kind of way it was handled. Joel saves Ellie. No, he does. Yeah, well, he kind of does. Joel saves what's her name, Abby, and I'm not being funny. I think it's like 25 years into the apocalypse now, or something like that. During the Last of Us Part Two, Joel has done and been through a lot of stuff. You can maybe make the argument that, like, he's been in the, I can't remember the place. He's been in a safe, relatively safe place for a while now, so he maybe, he has a different view on people. For me, I feel like 25 years is a very long time. He just seems to just save Abby, which he just would not have done in the first game, and he just, I don't know. It was just the way. I feel like I'm kind of chopping back and forth, but I don't know. I kind of disagree with the way that Abby was introduced. I think there should have been a different way, but it's been and gone now. There's no point in trying to moan about it. But yeah, she just kind of basically beats Joel up, well, beats him to death with a golf club. And then Ellie tries to, save him, and they're not on talking terms because Ellie found out that, oh yeah, Joel lied. That the fireflies, he killed the fireflies and saved her. So it kind of, she feels like her life, had meaning, and now it doesn't. And obviously took the cure away from the world. So she wasn't happy, and she obviously wasn't happy that he lied to her. And yeah, obviously that's a big story, big part of the story. But it just felt like it was very, I don't know. I've played through the game really recently, so I just feel like the story, it did some things right, but some things were just, I don't know, questionable at best. Um, and like Abby just comes in, beats up Joel to death, and the story is a revenge story. Okay, so Ellie tracks down Abby and all her friends through, I don't even know where the game's set, but yeah, she tracks all her friends down, and like, the whole point is to kill all of Abby's friends and kill Abby. And for some reason, it feels like you play as Abby for the majority of this game, and you see like the friends that Ellie kills. You then flip over to Abby, and you see, oh yeah, these people are actually really nice. Oh look, here's them playing fetch with Abby's dog. Oh wait, Ellie killed Abby's dog. Oh wait, Ellie killed this person. It's just, I don't know. It's very weird. The story. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit too much, but that was the whole point of this video. I'm just rambling and yapping. There's a lot of gameplay to get through anyway. But yeah, in all honesty, I can see what they were doing with the whole Abby storyline, but for me and for many other people, it just didn't work. When I first played through the game, I'll be honest, I really didn't like the story. I didn't care for Abby. I still don't care too much for Abby now. The game really wanted me to. The game felt like it was really trying to just make me dislike Ellie, and that was just not going to happen. And this whole hunt for revenge, or what Abby did to Joel, it just, I don't know. I get it, and then you flip over to Abby and you see, oh, everyone's all really nice who Ellie's killing. Oh yeah, they're all really nice, but Ellie brutalized them or whatever. I do get the view that Naughty Dog was kind of trying to get at with the campaign, and I can appreciate them for trying something different with the story at least. And I'll give them credit where credit's due, but for me and for a lot of people, the story just wasn't what it could have been. But I do actually want to say that I've recently just played through the game, and I got to say, after a second playthrough, after being away from the game for like 5 years, I have a newfound appreciation for Abby. Sure, there's things you can say about her and the whole story in general, but I don't know. Maybe I just missed out and was kind of blinded by like a little bit of I don't know. There's still things I don't like about the story, but there's things now that I've played it through like again and 5 years later, and I just see things a little bit differently with the story. I don't think it's like the worst story ever. A lot of people are saying that, and I got to say, I don't think it's the worst story ever. I don't think it's a bad story. I don't think it's a good story. I wouldn't say it's a great story. A lot of people hate Abby. A lot of people like Abby. A lot of people actually liked where the story went, but I think the majority of people didn't really like the way the direction of the story went. And let's talk about the ending. So, after flipping and flopping between Ellie and Abby for this campaign, I think the campaign's relatively long to be fair to it, but Ellie, you finally get to fight Abby and you can get revenge for what she did to Joel and killed a few of your mates. She killed Tommy, not Tommy. Did she kill who? She killed, yeah, she killed Jesse. And I've got to say, now I'm going to have a little ramble about Jesse. I really love Jesse. I think he was one of the real highlights of Last of Us 2. And it was just such a shame the way he just kind of went. The way he went, if fair enough. I don't think he's a character that was like, oh, I'm so disappointed. I'm never going to stop ranting about it. I just really liked his character. I thought he was a really good character, and I feel like he was a little bit underused. I think there should have been like a DLC because he goes away for like a couple of days to try and find Tommy. I feel like a DLC where you just play as Jesse trying to find Tommy, or even like playing as Tommy and seeing what he got up to in like the first few days of this game would have been really, really good. But in my opinion, Jesse was so underutilized. I think he's such a good character, and it's just a shame. I get the death was actually pretty surprising. To be fair, it was kind of quick, and it was just like, whoa, okay, out of nowhere, like a Randy Orton KO. But yeah, I really like Jesse, and it's such a shame to see that he'll probably never be in another game. But yeah, I like him. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so the ending of Last of Us Part Two. So after this whole journey, Ellie's killed so many people. She's killed all of Abby's friends, and it finally gets to the point now where you can you're strangling what's her name? You're strangling Abby, and you can finally get your revenge. You've traveled all this far and wide. You've killed so many people, and when the time comes, Ellie lets Abby live. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, my friend made a really good point about this. Like, that whole journey just felt kind of pointless, to be honest. But the main thing that he brought up, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, that's true. The amount of people that Ellie killed definitely created like another 500-600 Abbeys, because all of those people that she killed had people that cared for them. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them did. And they're always going to try and find the person who killed their loved one. And it was a point that I never actually thought about until he brought it up, and I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty true. So there's probably people out there who just want to kill Ellie, and this whole journey, oh, she lost so much, and I get that's the story. It was trying to make this story of like, oh, revenge is really bad, you don't want revenge. But I don't know, man, it was just like I think the way it was written, I don't know. I get them letting Abby live. I don't. I think Ellie should have probably killed her, to be honest. But yeah, a lot of people feel very differently, and that's fine. That's just my opinion, and you're more than welcome to have your own. But that's what I mean by this story is very decisive. People are either on one side of the spectrum where they absolutely love it and think it's maybe even better than the first, which I don't think too many people are saying it's better than the first, but there's some people who absolutely hate it. For a little bit, when I first got the game, I was a little bit, yeah, I don't like it at all. Now I'm like a little bit older. I've played the game recently, and the remasters graphics are even better than before. I gotta say, I don't think it's the worst story. I never said that, but I don't think it's great. I think it's just so mid with a few things that are just questionable. I would say that. So I don't absolutely hate it, but I don't love it at all. But the gameplay, let's move on to the gameplay of Last of Us Part 2 because the gameplay of Last of Us Part 2 is honestly, it's so amazing. The gameplay is brutal, it's more fluid, it's just it really does improve upon everything that the first game did. Like I don't know how much the original port of Last of Us Part One's like the gore. I just want to talk about the gore. Like you can see some of the kills I get throughout this video is just so graphic. Like I'm just blasting people's arms off, and they're just sitting there screaming and crying, and you like pop some guy's jaw off, and you see it. Like I mean, I just blasted some guy's leg off. I may be watching this, and there's a little bit of a delay, but like you're just blasting people's body parts, and you're seeing like the damage on their skull when you get a headshot. Just crazy stuff like that, and the detail of it all, even like the clickers and stuff like that. It's just yeah, it's it's really gory, very satisfying to get like a brutal kill and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I feel like the gameplay, the weapons are just so satisfying to use. I love the crafting, and I love that I can craft like incendiary. I always struggle with that word. Fire bullets, basically. But yeah, kills are very satisfying. You can be really stealthy. You can get like a suppressor, which is like a bottle, and tape it to your pistol and just be really stealthy, or your arrows, or you can just go like full on action man, John Wick, and just blast people up and throw pipe bombs and all types of crazy stuff. And yeah, the gameplay is just so good. I really, really love. I think I speak for majority of people. Maybe I don't actually. I think, in my opinion, anyway, the Last of Us Part Two's gameplay is significantly better than Last of Us Part One. Not in the story department, but the gameplay department. I think for sure. Um, that maybe that's a hot take. I don't know, but I really like Last of Us Part Two's gameplay. And one thing that I want to mention, I think I might have already spoke about it a little bit, but this game mode, this I think it's no, I keep on forgetting what it's called, no run or no return, whatever. This was never in the original release of Last of Us Part 2, and it came with the remastered edition of the game for the PS5 and for the PC, which is I'm playing it on PC. I didn't even know this game mode was a thing until I finished the story. I just completely skipped over it. And then I was like, wait, what's that? So I just started playing it, and oh my God, how I've not even heard about this because the game mode is just so fun. Um, I didn't know I needed it until I started playing it. Yeah, it's just so fun. You obviously can play as a big portion of characters. I haven't actually unlocked them all yet. Obviously, I'm playing Jesse. I think at the moment Jesse's my favorite. I've played a little bit with Tommy. I like the setup of weapons that Tommy has, but yeah, my favorite is Jesse at the moment. Yeah, I still have to unlock a few more characters, but I am having such a fun time with this game mode. And it's good to get like extra content for this game, and yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier. The DLC ideas, I wish they kind of implemented those with a Tommy DLC or a Jesse DLC. I don't know. I'll take more Last of Us 2. I think the game is solid, but yeah, both games are absolute masterpiece. Whatever you say, I don't know about Last of Us Part One, whether that got Game of the Year. I'm going to assume it did, but I know for a fact Last of Us Part Two definitely did get Game of the Year. And yeah, I think it's not the worst decision in the world. I think the gameplay alone for Last of Us Part 2 is just so amazing. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this type of ramble. I'm sorry if it was just completely all over the place. I'm trying something new. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.